Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Poland Defiant. This is a game designed by Stefan Ekstrom and published by Revolution Games. This is another in the line of games that Stefan's been doing. He did Königsberg, Across the Narva, now Poland Defiant, that uses a system that is derivative of a victory lost. Now I know that is not always popular with a lot of gamers because AVL tends to have ahistoric results. That's due to the chit draw mechanic, and I think it is a great game. It is a fun game to play. It's not a study simulation. It's not intended to be. It's supposed to be a war game with the heavy emphasis on game. And the same for these. And the chit draw system is a fantastic way to play a game, especially solitaire, because you're leaving the fates in charge of what units go first and what units go second and so on and so forth. This is a Ziploc game, so there's no back of the box. So let's just dive right in and check out the components. All right, we have the title sheet, and on the back of the title sheet we have a breakdown of the counter explanation. We'll take a look at that when we look at the rest of the stuff. We have our rules, our counter sheet, and our map. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the map that comes with the game. It is a beautifully done map by Revolution, and I'm a big fan of their maps. I love the color palette they use. I love their map design, and their map quality is really fantastic. One of the examples of that is there's no fraying or flaking on the map edges where it folds. And that's real important, especially for Ziploc games, because they're not going to have the same protection that a box game would have. So it's great to see the quality that Revolution has here. Kudos to them on that. You can play the game either keeping the map straight up and down or side by side. If you're playing it opposed, obviously you're going to be playing across from each other. The German side here, the Polish side there. You're going to set up that way. If you're going to be playing by yourself, you can have it straight up and down. I tend to use my games like this. Either side has the terrain effects chart. You also have the CRT on both sides. On the Polish side, you have the replacement roll table, and then the Polish Air Force box and the Polish activation track. On the German side, you have the German activations track, the victory point track, and the Luftflotte 1 and 4 boxes, as well as the turn track all the way at the bottom. And we'll take a look at the player aid that comes with the game. It is actually the back of the title sheet, and it explains to you how to read your counters, the different types of units in the game, the air units, non-mechanized, mechanized units, and then the command chits and action chits, as well as the other markers in the game and naval units. The command chits and action chits are going to be important because the command chits are how you're going to activate your units, and the action chits will represent special events that can happen during a turn. Now we'll take a look at the counter sheet that comes with the game. These are nicely done half-inch counters. German units on the left and the Polish units on the right. Administrative counters along the bottom. All units in the game are color-coded, so it makes matching up the command chit draw as it's pulled from the cup, along with its subordinate units, very easy. You don't have to know, for example, all of the units under the 8th Army or the 10th Army, so on and so forth. You just look at the color band on the unit and you can activate those units. And while all the command chits will go in the cup at the beginning, each turn it will tell you how many command chits can actually be activated per turn. Also, the Polish unit Carpaty, that will come in on turn 3, so it won't be in the cup at the beginning. There are also some special command chits here and here that'll be placed in the game as directed, and it will change how some of the chit draw activations work. Next, we'll take a look at the rules. This is an 11-page rule book. On the inside of the front cover, we have the introduction, the component breakdown, explaining all of the different components in the game to you. Then we get into the command chits, which we already talked about, where you have them color-coded to the units. Their subordinate units are color-coded with that band. Anytime you draw them from the cup, you'll be able to activate that unit based on how many activations you can have on that game turn. Then there are the special command chits, which we've already talked about. They're going to have different effects, like, for example, Polish OG chit. The Polish player draws this chit and then rolls on the table labeled Operational Group Roll Table. This indicates the number of OG groups that may be activated. There are 3 OG in the game: Naru, Unrug, and Visco. Naru and Unrug start on the board, and Visco will enter as a reinforcement on turn 7. So that will change up how those are activated. Same for all these others. You have the Army Group North for the Germans and Army Group South. You'll be able to activate multiple units based on the command draw. And then also you may activate another unit a second time in the turn. So just like within a victory loss, it's going to have some differences here, which will be interesting to explore. Then we get into the sequence of play. Your command explanation on page 2, command phase, talking about the chit draw and the operational pace for the Germans, headquarters and command execution, zones of control, movement, stacking, reinforcements, and in combat, odds determination, terrain features, restrictions, step losses, and how those are all handled, retreats, retreat from an EZOC, retreating stacks, advancing after combat, supply and isolation. You can see these rules are very short. One, maybe half a page to a page, page and a half for each. Combat is about a page and a half. So if you are already an experienced wargamer, this is going to be a very simple game for you to get. If you're new to wargaming, welcome aboard first off. This is one of those types of games that is fantastic to get because you don't have to worry about which unit to select. You just pull from the chit draw and you let the fates decide who goes. And as you can see, the rules are not heavy. They're not going to be difficult to grok, and you're going to learn all the basics that you'll need for playing any other war game. Then we have some special rules here, air units, replacements. Then we get into air attack, interdiction, damaged aircraft return, and then how to win the game. And then your setup is listed out for you on page 9 and 10. And then on the back of the rule book, we have the index as well as the random event table. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Poland Defiant. This is a game designed by Stefan Ekstrom and published by Revolution Games. If you played either of Stefan's other 2 games, Across the Narva or Königsberg, you're going to feel very much at home here. If you've not played any of those and you've played a Victory Lost, you're going to feel very much at home here. So there's nothing to throw anybody off. And as you can see from the rules, this is a very straightforward rule set. It's very easy to understand, very easy to learn. Throw it down on a table and just get to playing. Chit draw mechanic is one of my favorite, especially for operational games for solitaire play, because you don't have to worry about which units to move and are you cheating yourself. Here you're just letting the draw mechanic work for you and just pull out what units you're going to pull, and then you just play through it. One of the other things I like about the chit draw mechanic is it adds in more chaos that way. You're now adding reactionary movement in. When you're playing perfect God mode and you're playing by yourself, you're going for the narrative. You're going to be trying different tactics out, maybe things like strategies, things like that. But you know what's going to happen, and you know what you're going to do on both sides generally. With the chit draw, you don't. You're having to react. You may think you've got a plan, and you will, but it won't always work out the way you want it to due to the chit draw. And I think that's really fantastic. One of the reasons why I love it. Again, like I said before, if you're an experienced war gamer, going to be very simple to understand this game. You can throw it right down on the table. Great solitaire game to play. If you're new to wargaming, first off, welcome. And second, this is the type of game you can easily pick up. It's going to be really fun playing a chit draw mechanic because you don't have to worry about, oh, do I draw, do I play this guy? Do I play that guy? No, you play whoever you're told to by the game, by the chit draw. The other thing is you're going to learn a lot of the basic mechanics that you're going to see in all war games. Your ZOCs, your supply, your combat resolution. All those things are going to be almost identical across the spectrum of wargaming. Obviously, some of the games are going to have different mechanics slightly or different changes, but overall, you're going to learn your basic foundation for wargaming. So games like this for new wargamers are fantastic to grab. And you can always buy from Revolution with 100% confidence. Their products are always top-notch. Well, hope that helps you guys out if you'd be curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.